What's up, guys? Welcome back to the TCG Scrubs podcast. I'm Oscar, and joined with only, only Colin, Team ARG's Colin. How's it going, Colin?
It's going pretty good, you know. I keep forgetting I have a Twitter account. I should probably do that.
Yeah, I should probably use it. I use ours every so often. It comes in waves. There's consistency, and then there's like parts where I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot we had this. Should probably use it. I check it often though, so there's that. But I follow a lot of the Force Will artists, and I find I can't always check my Twitter while I'm at work because man, they post some stuff. They retweet some interesting stuff. That's not necessarily safe for work. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Into the usual, say thank you to Happy Little Hug Factory for helping sponsor many things that we do on this channel. If you guys are looking for sealed products or even singles, you can definitely visit their website, link in the description below. See what they have that you're looking for. They also have a buy list in case there's some singles you're trying to get rid of. You can go ahead and see if they're looking for those and maybe send them in. Oh yeah, speaking of Happy Little Hug Factory, also mention to the Happy Little Hug Factory family of sponsored channels. If you guys are looking for
Happy Little Hug Family.
Yeah, I forget who made that up. If you guys are looking for like maybe Final Fantasy type of content, you can definitely check out Emotempest. We'll put their link in the description down below again, as well as we did last time, and check them out. Let them know, hey, we watch TCG Scrubs. I don't know, but also
we watch TCG Scrubs, and they're never going to do Final Fantasy. So nothing against the game, but you know,
yeah,
there's only so much.
Also, thank you to our patrons, patreon.com/TCG Scrubs, for always helping us out with everything around the channel. They do more than just subscription based, like what money or whatever. I don't know how you want to consider this Patreon thing and how that works. They help us upgrade things around the channel, but they don't just do that. They also contact us with ideas for videos, and a lot of them come through. Like, we're going to be doing a Keyforge video that's been requested. We're going to be doing I didn't tell this to Colin yet, but we're at some point going to do like kind of like a sealed pool deck building thing where Colin will get 6 packs, I'll get 6 packs, and we kind of like build some stuff that go through our thought process of our building our decks and such, and then kind of play with them. And a little series, like it'll probably be more useful during the release of a set, but that's something that was recommended that I really like the idea of, that I would like to give a shot as well.
And that's on top of like the stated stuff of video content. Like, I'll have the deck profile come out hopefully this week of one of our patrons who was in that tier that qualified for that. There's the tiers that qualify for gameplay. If you guys so choose you want to do that, it's a monthly thing. So each month you can come up with a deck or a game you want to do with us, depending on what tier you're at, and we can record that and put that on the channel. You just gotta, and if you're already a patron, you just gotta make sure you message us, because we've messaged you guys and a lot of you don't want to do that, which is fine. But so I don't want to keep messaging and annoying you guys. So if you guys are in that tier and are interested, just be sure to let us know so that we know to get that scheduled and set up.
Lots of other cool little things we'll be doing later in the future that are going to come up with Patreon that you'll see soon. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and as you can see, as a reminder, we are alive and well. Both last couple weeks and this week as well. This might actually be unless I get that deck profile video done, this might be the only video that comes out this week on our channel.
Right. And
that's just a lot of background stuff going on, combination of somewhat working on the teaching videos, and just a lot of personal stuff going on, and then I'm taking a trip to California here for a little bit, so
yeah,
I'm just straight up not doing anything.
I was gonna comment on that. So you guys are gonna get this podcast this week. Next week there will not be a podcast. There won't be any content that whole week, and then we'll come back after that because Colin will be back from his trip. As a result, we've also not been able to record any games at all. Joey's not even recorded his teaching video. I've recorded my part, just waiting for Colin to edit it, and I'll be working on.
You recorded one of your parts, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say parts. I said part, Colin. Jeez. But yeah, it's just been busy. But
like I said, once I come back from the California trip, we're gonna pump out those teaching week videos as well as our normal schedule. We're going to get back to the schedule we were at before that we sort of fell off of somewhat, and that's where we had at least one gameplay video each week in addition to the news, the podcast, and then hopefully maybe a deck profile or some other random video that week, as well as on the weekend we'll sporadically have third party, or not third party, but like other games that we are working on. So Oscar will be working on Warhammer. He'll have videos coming out for that on the weekend, especially related around the app, and I'll have ones for Transformers as well, so look forward to all of that. And then we're going to get into our Patreon videos, where we'll be doing a bunch of videos of that on the channel. So a lot of stuff to look forward to, but it is a little bit of lull in the meantime. So thank you for bearing with us. We know it kind of it's annoying when you're following someone on YouTube and they just like stop doing stuff for a while. I know I don't like that, but I promise we're going to get back to a better schedule than we were before, because it'll be it'll be nice to have sort of a week away from me. I've been doing a lot of video editing. So.
As a result, and this is kind of where we're going to go into the topic for today. So we are, boom, timestamp it. Somebody can throw it down in the comments below, like, oh, they start talking about Force of Will right here.
Yeah.
We're doing a T for timeout. Like, did you need a pause? What was that?
No, this was me marking it for everyone. They're like, oh, this is when the podcast starts. Kush, kush.
It's a timeout.
Also,
time.
actually, wait,
pause.
before we get into the podcast.
Oh, wait, don't timestamp yet.
Because I should be plugging this more. If you guys are interested in the more like meta analysis and stuff like that, be sure to check out the ARG official YouTube channel and Facebook page, where not only do we do at least one video a week, sometimes more depending on if an event happened and stuff like that. Ryan Miles has been doing a lot of cool videos where he had an interview with Benjamin Bargetzi, had an interview with someone else who was the person who top forward with their Keurig deck, I believe.
About Joey Schilling.
Yeah, Joey Schilling, that's his name. And we come out with two dudes talking usually at minimum each week, with myself and Mike Rance usually. Sometimes it rotates out like I did this last week and stuff. So be sure to check that out. I'm going to have a series of videos coming out pretty soon here. Probably around the same time our channel gets back up and running. So when I get back and start filming videos with Monster product, reviewing Monster product that was received, everything from their sleeves to their binders to their deck boxes and their new matte tubes, which I saw was a different design and stuff. So I'm gonna have an in general video going over it all, and then I'm gonna individually review them all so that you guys can sort of know, because a lot of it's pretty cool. I didn't realize the variety of product they have, so some of it's on the cheaper end, which I'll go over because it's kind of good to know some of that. So yeah.
All right, boom, time stepping now, guys. Podcast starts here, and even though I'm gonna talk about Monster for a second, I was actually gonna say I saw a post. I don't know if it was on Facebook or Twitter, but I thought it was pretty cool. Dual playmat holder. It holds two playmats.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, dang it, why didn't they come out with that before they sent us product?
Yeah. They're not a sponsor of the channel, but man, it'd be so cool if like Ultimate Guard did. Somebody got the hookup. Would get in contact. But
yeah, I like I could just start using the Monster Season stuff, but I really like Monster binders. I haven't used Ultimate Guard binders, but Ultimate Guard, I love their sleeves and their deck boxes. Their deck boxes are like my favorite ever, and they're
really good quality.
Playmat and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like, hey, I could hold my playmat in a plastic tube, which is good for Monster and stuff. But if you want to like cradle that shit and make it like feel like a king, then you gotta go to Ultimate Guard with their like velvet lined interior playmat holder and stuff.
A product they had that I really wanted for the longest time was two different ones they had. First, it was the playmat holder with the dice section, but then it was the one that held decks plus the playmat. I was like, dang, that's like everything you need right there. I just like go to Colin's house with that box alone and be like, cool, we're playing some games. I got like 6 decks built. Let's do this.
Yeah, it perfectly holds those plastic, cheap deck box things, so you just line them up with all the different colors depending on the deck that's inside of it. You just go chunk, open it, here's all your decks. It has a spot for your dice, the spot for your playmat. You're set for the days and stuff. And I was like, I really wanted that. It's one of those things where I love that type of stuff. Like I remember when I was playing Airsoft, there's a gun I was looking at, the L85, I think it was. Doesn't matter. But there's 2 different brands I was looking at, and one brand was like $270, I think, for the gun, and the other one was $300 for the gun. And the main difference, and I was sort of like, was one was like, hey, we're super realistic. Like, it comes with like all this random stuff, like tools and different things like that straight up don't even work with the gun, but they come with the real gun, so they put them in there just to make it realistic. But that one, I was like, I kind of am leaning toward that one because the box it came in, you'd get the box and it would open up and it's this nice box, and the entire interior was just lined with red velvet that like cradled the gun and everything. I was like, just that like nice feeling of opening that and you feel like legit. Like that's how I feel like when I look at those Ultimate Guard stuff of like, oh, I get to open it. Yeah. We're not sponsored by Ultimate Guard for the record right now, but
everybody's watching like, man, you guys are trying hard. You're hoping they find this podcast on you.
Well, I realize we never talk about like product and stuff for the game and stuff, and so I was like, I have a lot of stuff to say about this. We've never actually talked about this.
See, I've always wanted to do product reviews, but I watch so many from so many of the bigger like card game YouTube channels, like Tolarian especially. Like, I'm afraid like I wouldn't have my own personal spin on it. Like, your fear about watching other channels and accidentally stealing their content, things like that. I have that like kind of fear, like, oh, I want to do reviews. I'm afraid I'm going to do it too much like this guy, or too much like that person, or too much like this other one.
What you do is you do something different. So what you can do instead of doing like a product review, you'd be like, hey, so this is our game, Force of Will, based on how it plays, what we do, and how this stuff works. Here is the product I would recommend and why. So, hey, I'd recommend these sleeves, and this is why. And it comes with so many colors because you'll want at least 2 different colors for your stone deck, your main, or 3 different colors: stone deck, main deck, and your rune deck. And so you want sleeves that come with a variety of colors, can withstand a ton of shuffling because of how much you search your deck. You want a clear sleeve, so you can like put your you could put your own spin of it, rather than being reviews. It's more like recommendations and stuff like that based on the game that you are. Especially with Transformers coming out with the oversized sleeves and stuff like that, probably needs some stuff like you just come up with something different. But
which is crazy because if you guys have seen Transformers, they have normal, was it like kind of 2x3 cards, that the sizing of them?
Yeah.
And then they have the character cards, which are about 3
Commander
by 5.
size.
And then
3.5 by 5.
They just released, or they showed images for one coming out in a couple weeks, and it's like 5 by 6.
No, it's bigger than that, isn't it?
No, it's like photo size, which is like 5 by 6. I remember being like, oh wow, you can like probably find photo frames to fit it in and play with that.
So they can go bigger. They can totally go bigger if that's only 5 by 6. Oh, they can go way bigger. I'd be down for an 8.5 by 11. I'm down for 8.5 by 11.
Anyways, back to Force of Will, Colin. So something that I was trying to segue into it earlier when we talked about how busy we've been, but how busy we've been is we've also not been to our locals in about 3 weeks now, and with Colin being gone for pretty much next week, and then you'll be gone the following weekend too, right? Because you get back a couple days after that. Just 2 more weekends? Yeah.
No, I'll just be gone this weekend because I come back the following Tuesday, so I'll be there the following weekend if that's a week that we do stuff.
Is it a week we do stuff? Let me see. Do stuff.
I mean, I guess we can make it a week we do stuff. It's an off week.
Well, it's an off week, and there's like a Keyforge thing going on that day. And also...
Oh, we might be doing that Keyforge
Pokemon
thing,
Community Day is that day, so we won't be doing Keyforge.
Oh.
We got into Pokemon Go again, guys, pretty hard. You can add us
among other
things. No, so what I was trying to say is that there's been people who have posted in various social media saying, is this game worth it? Should I be playing this game? My locals isn't active. And, like, we're an example of our locals not being active. Like, unfortunately, like, when you have numbers and, like, because we had the numbers for the longest time. We would go places and pretty much make the event because there's about 4 to 5 of us. Now there's 3 of us, you, me, and Melissa. Which Melissa hasn't even gone in a while. It's just you and me. But, like, because we don't go, nobody else goes. So it's just like this, like, slowly dying thing. But people are wondering. I saw an example of it. Like, should I play Force of Will? And I was like, it'd be a great topic for a podcast at some point. I wanted Joey to be here because he's one of the people who he does this channel. He does all this stuff, and he keeps up with all the, meta and what's going on. But he doesn't play. So I wanted to get his opinion. That's because he
doesn't have locals. Yeah.
See, and that's an example of he could get it going, but he doesn't want to get it going.
That's a Joey separate issue though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's specific because of who Joey is. But yeah, no, it's and part of the reason, like, for me, like, the reason I've been busy, like, there's legitimately, like, hey, this, my wife's birthday is a good example of a reason we didn't go, which I think is a pretty good reason. But we also, I live, it's about an hour and 10-minute drive to our locals, hour 15, something like that. So it's not like, okay, it's a whole thing to get there, and however long the locals is, I have to tack on an extra 2.5 hours of drive time on top of however long we're there. So it's like a whole day thing. So it's not like I can't, like, spur of the moment do stuff, which is unfortunate. And without the locals having that steady baseline, if myself and, like, Melissa and Oscar don't go as 3 people, then there's not enough people to fire it off, which hurts people wanting to go there and stuff. So it's something that's hard to do, to no fault of anyone, but yeah.
Especially when locals looks to you to boot everything up and get it going again. They look at us essentially like, hey, let's get it. Like, when's everybody? Like, they actually went today. I was surprised. Like, and today's not even a forcible meetup day for us. Our meetup days are on Saturdays. They used to be Sundays, but a group of them actually went, and it's a group from the other part of Austin who have their own area that they play in.
Yeah. So I think as a separate thing, we'll talk about the should you get into Force of Will, and if we have time as a separate topic, we can talk about what to do to get your locals going, like some ideas maybe if you do decide to get into it. If we don't have enough time, then we'll make that our Patreon mini podcast. But
yeah.
So
Colin, should you play Force of Will? What's a reason you would give somebody, like, what is this game active? Should I play it? Is it good? What's going on?
Yeah, no, so I definitely would still say it's good to get into, because right now, especially at this point in time, we're in a period where we have one of the most, on the top tier meta side of it, it's one of the most diverse metas we've ever seen. And by extension, it's one of the most diverse metas in any card game. You're not going to see this variety of decks in Pokemon or Magic or anything like that for the most part. And so you have that side if you're really into that. If you're into the gameplay side of it, like, this is like a fresh start with new mechanics. Not like, oh, hey, it's the new mechanic of the week. It's mechanics that change the core of the game essentially. And so it's if you're getting into it, you're almost on this pretty much same footing as people who have been playing it for a while. That rune deck really just completely changes how the game is played in many respects. And so, just as a fresh start, you could play Cluster. Cluster is a legitimate thing that people like. So if you don't want to get old product, if you want to get into old product, you can just get new rulers that have some old cards in it. If you want to get into old rulers, that's a little bit harder, especially for certain ones like IU and all that. But you could definitely do that. The more oppressive decks aren't there as much anymore, with Sherry being banned and stuff like that. Like, I feel like if you like card games, I think it's universally acknowledged for the most part that Force of Will is just a better version of Magic, and now it's really showing and really displaying that. So I think Force of Will on a whole is better than most card games out there as far as gameplay, as far as art, as far as card quality, with the exception of 1 or 2 sets last cluster and stuff like that. So there's very few reasons I can think of outside of maybe gameplay preference. So maybe if you prefer the way Pokemon plays over this, then very specific niche themes like that would be the exception. But for the most part, I think Force Will at this point in time is the best. It's the best time to dive in because it's one of the better TCGs currently right now.
Mm-hmm. I find it the best time to jump into. I don't know if Cluster is exactly like the good selling point, because even Jeff has said he didn't test for Cluster. He tested for New Frontiers. So Cluster, he said, probably is like a stale format right now, just due to one set and starter decks. So
well, yeah.
You should wait it out for at least another set and see how that turns out. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, besides that, yeah, no, I think it's a great point to jump in. I really wish Joey was here so I can ping pong ideas off of him because he's the one who doesn't play. This whole subject I felt was stronger with Joey here. Leave a comment below blaming Joey. Just he sees the comments when they come in. He doesn't watch our videos though, especially when he's not here for a podcast.
Everyone in the comments, someone put hashtag blame Joey 2018, and we'll see, and we'll heart it and see how many people will like it and stuff. But no, I on this subject though, should you play Force of Will? And the answer is if you like this type of game where it's similar, as far as the color pie and everything, it's very similar to Magic. If you're a fan of Magic, let's say you haven't played Force of Will and you're a fan of how Magic plays and some other card games plays, then I think you should definitely start playing Force of Will. It's on an upward climb right now where, despite what I said about my locals, that's a specific R problem, which is starting to do better. Like Oscar said, they just put together a random event today that they went and played. I don't know if it fired off or not, but the fact that people are starting to get more interested in the game, people are coming back in to it. There's at least one. There's like what I would say like one or two people that have shown interest of getting back into the game at our locals and stuff like that. So it's a good. Oh boy, I lost my train of thought there. But if you're into this style of game, you should definitely play it. And if you're not unsure, it's literally $15 for a star deck that comes with 2 rulers and the 2 half decks. So they created an environment where if you're unsure of the game, it's of no sweat to you to go and try it. So $15, and for that $15, you're at least going to have a pretty interesting time. It's worth the $15 for the star deck because you'll be able to play with a friend and stuff like that. I do wish,
and hopefully it's $15 because we have an LGS out here selling them for $25 a piece.
Oh, 25, yeah.
Right near your house in Colin, there's a guy selling them at 25. A store selling them at 25 a piece.
Yeah, I would talk to your local game store if they're charging that much. You can always just go, if they have it in stock, you always just go to happylittlehugfactory.com and see if they have it. But just referring to the question of should you play Force Will, I think it's just straight up yes. The only reason you wouldn't play is if you, like I said, if you don't like this style of game. It's succeeding in the competitive front, the local front. The oppressive decks that maybe aren't competitive but are oppressive at the locals, as far as I can tell, aren't really present right now. It's succeeding on the secondary market front, which a lot of people were interested in, which is really interesting. It's succeeding on just the regular sale front. So if your locals doesn't carry it, you could talk to them and tell them all the improvements they've made and how everyone's selling out of the starter decks and the booster boxes, even selling out of singles and stuff like that. And just, you can lay out what's going on here. And it's, I can't think of a single facet off the top of my head outside of maybe super nitpicking that Force of Will is not doing better than other card games at this point. It's succeeding other card games in every facet I can think of at this point in time.
In gameplay over other factors, you mean?
Well, and every factor. So gameplay at the locals, competitive level, card quality, card art, how rarity works, especially with the full art holos for the commons and uncommons. The thing that might need a little bit of work is the texturing is really nice, but it needs to be raised a little bit more. But that's just, like I said, going into nitpicking at that point, because that's something a lot of card games don't even do.
I might argue some of your points that you're making. Like, I feel like Force of Will is doing great, as in like balancing, as in things are working, they're on top of their game, they're making sure they approach everything when it's needed to. They could be slightly more transparent or vocal with certain things they're doing that they're not, but like everything else is on point. I think because of that's that core, that the other little spokes need to start reflecting that, which we aren't yet, but I think other card games are, like Pokemon and such. Like, only card quality issue is probably Magic, and I'm sure they're probably still facing that, but some are willing to look past that when they go play Magic because they're playing Magic. But I don't know.
And the card quality on Magic was
points that you have.
The card quality issue with Magic got pretty bad though. But no, I was seeing issues of card quality with I don't want to say because I could be wrong. I know there's at least like 2 other card games I noticed were having card quality issues. I won't say the names because I might be misremembering which ones were which, and then people get mad at me. But I noticed that was an issue with other ones. But card games in general tend to be I'm not talking about just like card quality as far as like misprints and stuff like that. I'm talking about like the card stock. For example, I have the Transformers game, which is really cool. I like it, but the normal cards, the battle cards for it, you could tell are these sort of thinner, flimsy card that I'm afraid when I'm putting in sleeve, I'm gonna do that whole thing where you're pushing it and then all of a sudden it goes jink and bends because it gets caught.
Yeah, and
Force of Will, I've never worried about that before.
Well, and that's because any other people who have played other card games say like they have the thickest card stock out of any card game. So it's just like, yeah, they do. That's one thing I remember admiring when coming into it was like how thick the card stock was.
Oscar likes it thick. I will say I think Warhammer is thicker.
I don't think so.
I think so. From I'll double check.
You're
but
misremembering. Go find one because it's not. It has a textured backing the way Force of Will has, but it's not thicker than the cards they have.
We'll see. We'll see.
Anyway.
But yeah,
go ahead. I feel like it's doing great right now, and it's coming together. But people need to work right now, as in like individuals need to start taking the responsibility of helping build the locals. Like, yes, they can tell their LGSs, hey, this game's doing this, this, and this now. It's doing great. Can you take reconsideration? We've had comments already before in response to things we've said like that, or even things that Rob, which when we did that little interview when we were at our GP in Collinsville, you interviewed him. You guys can check that out. Hopefully we'll remember to information card that. But where he was saying, talk to LGS, do this and do that. And people were like, we've done that, but they won't just like, because he had made the recommendation of like pre-order the set. Like go up to him and be like, hey, I'm interested in Force of Will. Here's like $500 and I get a case of it. And some people have said they've tried that, but their LGS still refuse to do so. To me, in my opinion, what people should be doing is building those numbers. Like get a local community together. Like show that 6 to 8 people, 10 people are showing up every week just to play for fun, and then have them slowly like, hey, are we ever gonna get a product, or can we get product? I feel like that's a great way of like starting it up again.
Yeah, no, just building that community of, you go there, maybe you help build that by providing prize support. It could be just random promos you have. Like we have a bunch of extra promos of different promos, so we'd be able to do that as prize support if we ever needed to. We have a bunch of extra playmats we can use as price support if we ever needed to. People have taken like their bulk cards that are sort of cheap, not high value or anything, but they're decent cards, and build like starter decks to give out to people. Like I have thousands of cards. Not all of them are New Frontiers. Most of them aren't anymore now that rotation happened. But if I wanted to, I could build a bunch of Wander style decks that I could build dozens of those to give to people to get them into the game. Or if we want to start Wander, I could do that. And so it's just sort of taking that, if you want to see that at your locals, you want to create the environment that you want to see at a consistent basis without you having to work for it. So if you want to go to an event bi-weekly or weekly at your locals that has 6 to 10 people, has prize support, and your local supports it and all that stuff, you want to start that. So you want to create a mirror image of what you want to see. So you want to create the prize support, create the decks, and all that. I know this is effort on your part, but we're talking about jump starting locals for a game that a lot of locals don't trust. So that takes a little bit more effort, but if you get it going, that'll be a lot, it'll be very rewarding. But so you get that, once you get the consistent player base going, your locals can't ignore money. If you guys are coming in there and you're already just buying sleeves and binders and stuff like that for this card game, eventually they're going to have to realize they should start carrying the card game, because that'll bring more people in, or at least more revenue and stuff like that. So it's you just got to get that spark going. It just takes a minute, which
it's not. Sometimes it also comes down to distributor and who the store works with, because like you in your interview with Alan Hicks. Again, you guys can find it, just a couple of videos back from this one. He does mention in there that like certain distributors, and he said he wouldn't name them, order one load of stock and then just won't reorder more. And so some of you are saying that you're going to your LGSs. They say you buy the product, it's sold out. You go back for more, and they're like, no, we don't have any. We contacted the distributor. The product's sold out, won't be reprinted again. Some of you guys are like wondering like what's going on, or confused, and if you put the pieces together, it's just that you need to realize they may be going to that distributor that Alan mentioned, and that distributors ones who are saying like, we're not going to reorder. Like, maybe there's even a possibility of reordering, but there's also distributors who have plenty of product who are able to distribute it and things like that. So it can be tricky understanding who your LGS is and who they work with, and hopefully they work with multiple distributors, because I know ours does. It doesn't just ours uses Southern Hobby, but she doesn't just use that. She uses a few other distributors as well. So
yeah, and and if you have questions about their insurance, make sure to go to the Facebook US group, or you could go to our Discord chat, and maybe we can help you from there. And you can ask these questions and figure out, and you'll have people reply, or you can message people like Alan Hicks and stuff, and they can really help out with your locals, whether it's giving you more ideas of what to do, giving you access to your locals, access to buy product, to stock up if their distributor doesn't carry it, or if they're unsure of whether to start the game or not, so they need or want some sort of incentive. I know they're starting up some sort of program to help with that. The company is to help jumpstart stores and stuff, so there'll be that to look forward to. So different things like that. Like there's one idea that we had, because this is another problem with a lot of people's locals, is you're getting people who are coming in and buying product of Force of Will, but not actually showing up and playing it, and you're like, who are these people? They're buying out all the whole stock and stuff. So some ideas is to, one, try and get your game on the board. Like your locals usually has a big old board of what games are played at what time on what days, and they usually don't like putting Force of Will up there because that takes too long to write on there or something. And so talking to them about getting that written up there, so people who buy that product turn around and they say, oh, it's being played on this day at this time. Usually they have a Facebook page that they'll be like, all right, Magic is starting on Friday at 5 p.m. Be there. Ask them to post about Force of Will on there. We have the idea that I'll probably do when I get back as well, of printing out like business card type stuff and asking our locals to hand them out, or whenever someone buys Force of Will product, and all it says is, hey, Force of Will games are on this time on Saturday. Get there an hour early if you need a quick tutorial introduction, and then Oscar or someone would be there an hour early to teach anyone who wants to play and stuff like that. And also getting your local, like the people who actually are there, like say you're playing Saturday, usually there's the same one or two people who are at your locals running the store on Saturday. So teaching them how to play Force of Will, so that they in turn can teach other people, or they're aware of the game, and maybe you could even get them into it. So having someone on the inside who likes the game helps too. So there's a lot of different avenues to look at this. And so outside of playing Magic or Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh!, for the most part, you're gonna these steps we're talking about are applicable to almost any other card game besides the big three, because it's going to be dependent on the people jump-starting it. But once you get that ball rolling, that's the golden thing you want to get to, is just where you don't have to worry about doing all this every time.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts on that, Oscar?
No, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to see like some opinions on why it was like important to come into it, and ways to get your community started. Just, I find social media is also helpful. If you guys don't have a Facebook page already for your local Force of Will scene, like based on a major town or however you determine that. Like we have Force of Will Austin, or there's one for Dallas. It's like Force of Will Dallas or DFW. But
yeah,
just like creating that so people know a place to go, because like having played other games like say Pokemon and stuff like that, like that was one of the first things I knew to search for, is just like type in Force of Will in my city name and seeing if a local community already had started up, and that's a great way to communicate with people.
Yeah, and if you're in a city that doesn't have a Facebook page for that, then make one and then share it to the US group for Force of Will and say, hey, anyone in this area, I created this Facebook page for this city. Be sure to join it if you leave here. That way you get that jump start on it, and you sort of have the initiative. And as soon as you have like 10 people or something in it, then all of a sudden you have a community that can you can advertise to what days you guys can communicate with each other, and you make sure you add in the store owners into that Facebook page, manually invite them so that they know about it and can keep track of the game, of any events on it. You can also we have a Discord group for our Austin chapter that is sometimes active and stuff like that. So it's a matter of creating that community, and once you have that community, you want to, and you have other people who play, you want to keep that communication going and keep meeting up, because you want them to feel like, hey, even if they got lost interest in the Force Will game, they don't want to go to another game because they'll lose this community they've created. So the biggest thing is creating that sort of community that people want to be a part of, that's sort of positive, which I think Force of Will has one of the best communities in the card game community, especially compared to Magic and Pokemon, and from what I've heard, Yu-Gi-Oh as well. So it's everyone for the most part is super friendly and really wanting to help, and so being able to and people are pretty quick to filter out people who aren't that nice. So you're able to. It usually works out pretty nice.
Yeah, speaking of stores, we have Fall States coming up. ARG Fall States.
What day is that?
November 17th and 18th.
Cool. I knew about this.
I was like, yeah, you did, because you helped discuss stuff about it, or we discussed stuff about it. Not you helped. But yeah, no, you should know about it too. Is you're pretty much where your team comes from, ARG. But yeah, so
yeah.
You're judging this next event, huh?
We'll see.
I'll be playing this one because I didn't get to play the last one. That's one thing I do know.
What did they say first place gets?
A playmat. I think that says first place.
No, is it first place? Is there another ARG event that there's an invite towards, or is it just
has an
regular
invite
pricing?
For one, but it hasn't been announced yet if Force will be included in that invite yet. Just so you'll have the invite.
Okay,
so it's really weird.
Okay, so I might be judging it then, especially if there was staggered. If there's two events that maybe I can make two different cities.
Should be, because the Dallas people. Okay, so we're getting 3 for Texas, one up in the Panhandle, one over in Dallas, and then we're getting one in Austin. So we're probably gonna have Dallas people and San Antonio people come to the Austin one, and then I think everybody is still gonna go to the one in Dallas, and because Dallas people were even talking about, oh cool, we'll go to Austin, we'll go to theirs.
Okay.
So I was like, cool. Hopefully they haven't announced their dates yet, but hopefully theirs is Saturday, because in case I'm down for a 2-hour drive. We'll just head up there real quick.
Yeah. As long as I have nothing going on, which I don't think I do. Yeah, I hope I do. I gotta see when a certain thing is, but that should be fine. Of doing, I'll probably judge one and then playing the other, because I find judging kind of fun. So I gotta go take that. When is it? What day is it that for the Tier 0 judge exam? In case people don't know.
November 3rd through something or other, right? It's the first week of November. So yeah,
you just log in online, yeah.
Because a lot of you guys may not Facebook, because I know there's quite a few of you. Colin didn't do his news this week, so you probably didn't find out about this part of stuff happening in the Force of Will world. But if you watch the Q&A recap, they did mention that the judges, has the announcement. That's perfect. So the judges were going to make an announcement saying how when the L0 test would be available. Now, the L0 exam is going to be where your locals, or you can judge your locals, whether it be just a normal tournament you're doing, pre-release, or maybe even a states event.
States, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be... So it's only going to be available 72 hours for each quarter, and this quarter the exam will be live on the official Forceful website, which is FOWTCG.com. It says from 11 a.m. Eastern on the 1st until, say 8. I'm confused how they did this. Oh, until 11 p.m. Eastern on the 4th. That's your window.
So 2 days.
Yeah. Is it 2 days?
So I'll be in California, so I'm gonna have to
72 hours, Colin.
I have to take out my phone and try and take it on the exam on my phone. Just boop 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 boop.
Yeah, and some people were giving the excuse oh no, I won't be home. I'll be out on the road, or I'm going to this convention. It's it's on the website. You just pull your phone out and take the tests, and then some people will be reviewing each one. Just make it's gonna go through by personal people, not automated service or machine, whatever you want to call it. So
each one is hand graded and stuff like that. So I assume it'll be stuff like, hey, this is happening, what is your response? And you have to type out a response. It's not going to be A, B, C, D and stuff like that. So it has to, by default, hand looked at. And then if you want to get tier 1 and above, you still got to go to an actual GP and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But tier 0, as of right now, is the main one because we have no GP dates, even though those were supposed to be announced a couple days ago.
Yeah, Friday. I was realizing that too as we said it. But real quick, back
Jeff,
on...
you said you never lie. You said you never lie, Jeff. Freaking liar.
Back on the whole judge exam. What does the judge exam do for you, and how is it going to be proof? They will post on the website everybody who's passed the test as well as their score. So make sure you do well. I do know that, was it Colin's teammate, Ryan Miles, on their own personal channel, is it OTG Gaming still? Is that what it's called? Is doing, on their streams, doing judge things where he's kind of going through with people and helping everybody prepare themselves for this judge exam. So if you're looking for something like that, you can definitely check out Colin's teammate. You know specifics on his stuff. What is it?
Yeah, what you said.
What a horrible teammate. Anyways, so there'll be a place of proof of like who passed and what scores they got. So hey, keep an eye on us. Maybe you'll see us on there. Hopefully, I didn't fail that thing. And it'd be great practice too for when you go take the actual exam. If you guys choose to become judges, I don't think I'll go that far. I don't know if I'll be an L1. I'll enjoy just kind of showing up to events and playing. As opposed to judging, it can be stressful. I remember seeing a video somewhere where they're talking about like, as a judge, like you're never gonna make everybody happy. You're gonna disappoint somebody, and that's a given.
Well, yeah, but as long as you correctly disappoint someone, I think it's fine. There's something good that comes out of someone who thinks they can target you 6 times and telling them they're wrong and seeing they're disappointed. That feels good to see that. So it's not like a negative all the time.
Yeah, it's true. I hope that judge call comes up. Okay, so there's that.
Someone needs to make a subreddit, or maybe go in the Force of Will subreddit and just anonymously post a whole thread of like judge stories of like just crappy stuff they've had to deal with and stuff like that. Just all of these different judge stories. That would be great. Yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
On the judge thing, I'm not sure if there's like a renewal period. Well, I'm sure we'll hear about it soon. Somebody will ask. But just go take the test for now if you're interested in something like that. We'll figure the rest out later. But no, GP announcements were supposed to hit Friday. During the stream in the Q&A, he said it was supposed to be Friday. He did question it, though, when he said it. He didn't say affirmatively it was going to be on Friday. But we're supposed to find out the rest of the GP season, when and where it was going to be. I'm assuming that's just like the solidified, like actual, like run by Force of Will dates, not necessarily the ones where they're going to run WGPQs places. I feel like that would probably fall later in the year. But
yeah, this podcast comes out Tuesday, so maybe it was announced by the time this comes out. So if that's the case, it was still late. So but yeah. So I'm pretty excited to see what happens though at ARG States, because it's sort of the middle ground, so it's not locals, but it's not GP, so we'll get an interesting idea of like what the meta is at that level. Is that going to still be diverse, or because it's at that middling area, the sort of more oppressive stuff like Time Spinning Witch is just going to win by default and stuff like that? I'd be curious to find out.
What do you think? Like, do you think there's going to be enough, like, let's say our states is like last time there's like what, 20, how many people were like 20, there's over 22 at least, but we'll just say 20. 20 people show up to states, and there's 15 Time Spinning Witches.
It would depend on the remaining decks and who's playing those. But if all the good players are playing Time Spinning Witch, and or the remaining decks are stuff like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, I don't know, Keurig or so it's decks that need that, yeah, Keurig, or aggro decks that need that early game tapping stones, and if they don't, they sort of fall apart pretty easily. Then yeah, I don't think that's very telling of the meta out of that. I think that's just telling of people saw Time Spinning Witch and want to play it. That being said, I don't think we'll see that, because it wasn't, Time Spinning Witch wasn't even the big top 8er. It won first place, but Chimimi was took 3 spots in top 8. So volume wise, I think we're more likely to see Chimimi, especially if we have a lot of new players who haven't gotten old cards, so they see what's good from the new rulers, they see Chimimi, and so they build off of that. So I think, if anything, the big volume ruler we'll see is most likely going to be Chimimi.
I feel like that came down, though, to people talking. Like, before the event, people were saying Chimimi is a play, and then Ryan Miles wins with Time Spinning Witch, does his after game interview saying time spinning witch is the play. Everybody was mistaken. So now that flips it, and people will be like, "Oh, time spinning witch is the play. Let me run it." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think that many people pay enough attention to the post-game analyses and stuff like that players do. I think a lot of people are going to be like, hey, let's go to tcgscrubs.com, click the top 8 list for that event, and they're going to look at it and be like, okay, Time Spinning Witch got first, but Chimimi was in the top 3. So they're going to do it by that default. They could choose Time Spinning Witch, but my main point was we have a lot of new players who don't have the old cards or can't get a hold of Time Spinning Witch and stuff like that because it hasn't been distributed to locals, and so they don't want to go through the effort of buying it and stuff like that. So they're just going to go to the locals, buy a Chimimi Star deck, buy the couple single cards they need for it, and then they're good to go. So it's just a matter of ease of access and stuff like that. And so Chimimi was the only new ruler to make into the top 8. So, no. Was there one other one? Was it just Chimimi from New Dawn Rises that made it in top 8?
I remember it was, 2 Ayus, 3 Chimimis, Kirik, Time Spinning Witch. That 8?
No, that was 7.
Gil.
We need one more.
The Conjure.
Gil. Okay, so it'll just be Chimimi most likely. Maybe people will sneak in there with Brunhild or something like that. But I think there will be probably an emphasis on the New Dawn Rises rulers like Brunhild and Chimimi, but it will be more of a technicality of access and new players rather than actual power levels. So that's why I say it'll be interesting to see what happens at this ARG States. Because, things like especially IU and, Time Spinning Witch might just be a matter of, access at this point. Especially Mosasaurus, both the price it is and access it is, people just straight up might not be able to build Time Spinning Witch outside of buying boxes if they can find it.
I have an extra one. I have a playset +1, I think.
Wow. You should probably sell that. I was like, do I have any Time Spinning Witch cards? Let me look. And I was like, I have a bunch of Dinosaur Surfacing. Oh, that's the one that's not worth anything. That's cool, I guess.
Do you have any Mosasaurus?
I don't think I think I gave them all to you.
I mine.
Okay, I might. If I do, it's in a deck somewhere. I'm in the middle, as you can see. I'm still organizing stuff. I took a week off of organizing, but I was in the process of organizing every card I own. So I'll let you guys know if I come across any. As of right now, I've not come across a single one. I know I had them, but
I did too. I have a small list of cards I need to finish my playsets out. I'll be hitting up Happy Little Hug Factory here soon. See what they got. And what they don't
Me
got,
too.
I'll be seeing some of you guys who listen to this who might be sellers on TCG Player.
Speaking of which, that's actually a good topic for our mini podcast. So I want to talk to you about our collections and how we go about collecting cards and sort of maybe get some people's feedback on that. So,
well, there you go.
Thanks,
guys. If you want to hear that, become a patron. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right here so we can get to that. Again, shorter podcast. Joey helps fill in some of those gaps and helps spark conversation. So hopefully he'll be here. Again, we won't be here next week, but hopefully he'll be here the week after that. Wherever we're going to talk about when that time comes. But thank you for listening, guys. And we'll see you.
All right.